Good morning. Guess who's back? Back again. Marvin's back. Tell a friend. Anyway, good morning. Morning, Sherman.
Hey, morning. What is that?
All good, all good. Sherman's in the house. I'm in the house. Family's in the house. We're all back. So, we had a nice break. We got away for a few weeks. And we've returned. Returned to quite a bit still needs to be done, obviously. And obviously to see how the house survived with us not actually being in it as often as we normally would be. A few teething problems. No major teething problems. We have had a couple of the lads here doing a few bits to try and keep on top of the house whilst we've not been around. So the house has been opened a few times. We've had some of the skirting boards and the general woodwork done in a satin wood. So that's been done whilst we've been away. We've obviously had to keep the pool empty because of the rain. There's been lots of. It's quite weird actually. We went to the UK and there was no rain, which normally we get loads, and here apparently it rained loads, so maybe we exchanged. So we had to obviously keep things like the pool empty and things like that just to ensure that we didn't actually breed mosquitoes for the neighbours. The land itself has grown lots of weeds, so I need to come up with a solution or an idea about how we're going to go about having to bear with it or get rid. So I'm talking to Carter's today and yesterday about some industrial weed sheets. If we can try and find a massive roll, then I think I'll roll some of that to try and keep it all down. So I'll show you what I mean with regards to the rear garden. The rear garden, we haven't decided what to do with that at the moment, but certainly with regards to us not being around where the house is concerned, we certainly can't have grass because it will end up looking like this. So what happens at this sort of time of year is the wind takes a lot of the seeds from a lot of the actual plants in and around the area, which kindly spread themselves all over the place, and then you land up having lots of aggro. So what I might get done with this is I might bring some of the lads back if they're not working and get this completely de-weeded, then get it sprayed with a weed killer of some sort, and then get some form of weed sheet placed down to prevent them actually regrowing back. And I don't think I'm going to seed or grass this. I think I'm actually going to put some form of astroturf down. Same here as well, look, it's doing the same here. And I'll show you around the front. We actually had a landscaper come out and prepare the front and lay some grass and put in some sprinklers in good old Bayesian fashion. Unfortunately, that's not been looked after since I've been away, so it's now turned into a pile of rubbish. So this is the front, and it's been weeded twice. So you've got the pods that we'll put in. So you see one here, see one here, see another one here, but obviously it's been overtaken by what seems to be all of these little seeds here. The wind just blows and they all land up over here, and they land up growing like they are at the moment. So the sprinklers have been on and they've been operational. I turned them off last night because I just don't see the point. One, there's a lot of rain, and two, I'm watering something that I don't want. So it might be worth us running a lawnmower over it at some stage to see what we actually have, and then trying to de-weed it and then decide. The shame thing about it is the width. If it was around about 6 foot, we'd be able to obviously just buy some astroturf and just run it straight through, or one run. I think 100 foot by 6 foot wide is about 2,500 Bayesian. So I'm not too sure how wide this is. I think it's about 8 foot. So we would need, one whole roll. But again, I mean, I want natural, but at the same time, if we're not going to be around, or we can't rely on people to maintain when we're not around, then it's just going to turn into a bit of a mess. So I think if we just astroturf this front part, that will be the best thing to do. So weed sheet, astroturf, that will be that. I de-weeded here yesterday. This was the same. This was absolutely caked with weeds, etc. So we've got some aloe vera that's been planted in there. But yeah, that was absolutely full yesterday. So that took about sort of 10 minutes just to get de-weeded. And again, obviously, a lot of the weeds, there was 3 or 4 different types of weeds. One sort of goes along and goes into the soil and carries on and goes into the soil and goes on. So it was like, it really does bed itself in there. So I'm sure there's still roots left in there. So the chances are within a couple of days it'll start showing signs of coming back again. Our horrible little mess over the road was left because I still have stuff to do. But tomorrow I think I've got the Bobcat coming out to get that cleared and get that taken away, just to try and help the neighbours. I'm sure they've had a little bit of a moan when I've been away. And the two things I needed done was the garage door when I was away. The garage door, as you can see in the background, it is in there. Unfortunately, it's been damaged in transit. We're going to get the actual door itself out today. Obviously, the runner at the top, the boxing where the runner is, that's been damaged. But we might be able to box that in above and hide that. But the doors themselves, the sort of the louver doors, they're around about sort of 3-4 inches wide. That comes in a roll. I'm going to get that out on today, and hopefully that hasn't been damaged. If it is, that's the fascia that we're going to see. Now, one issue with that as well, which I'll make you aware of, because again, you guys might be going through this, garage door height and garage door width is very essential to get right. So I tried my hardest in my terminology to get out of the garage company what width meant and what height meant, i.e. when the garage door is open, I don't want to see anything at all. I just want to see the block work on the side and the block work at the top. So what is that opening height and width? 4,800 in length, in our language probably about 16 feet, and 2,500 in height, which is in our language around about 8 feet. What they didn't explain is that the height, the 2,500 in height, is actually including the box. So if you want the box coming down, which is a foot, then you got 7 foot of doorway, 1 foot of box. They told me it was 2.5, so we built the hole width-wise to 4,800, which should be okay. But the height itself, we're going to have to come down 2 feet. So if you remember rightly, we made the height 9 foot in case we ever have to take anything out and get to the back. We've made the hole open in 9 foot, and we were going to box down a foot for the garage door. We're now going to have to box down 2 feet, so it'll come down to about here, which only gives us about 7 feet of clearance to come into the garage, which is bloody tight. Bear in mind, even a truck is quite high. So I'll measure that today and have a quick look. I say, and then we'll get the roller doors out, the roller panels out, which obviously we've gone for a roller door, which means that rather than an up and over, i.e. the whole door goes in and over, it will roll up into itself. So the panels, I say, are quite small. So hopefully they've survived transit, but I'm not holding out much hope on that, unfortunately. So fingers crossed, my luck will change for once, and we'll have that. Over here, obviously, you can see since we've stopped, all the containers have gone from over the road, and we've stopped using here. It's grown like wildfire. So it's nice to see some green back, that's for sure. I just didn't want green here. So anyway, we've got to get that sorted out. So I'm probably going to say get the weed rolls ordered, get them delivered for tomorrow. Get some of the guys back, start de-weeding, get spraying, and then get the actual sheets down so we can have some clearness. The windows in England still haven't been made and delivered, so I'm still waiting for those. I chased him up today. These ones are in, but we've still got to sort out that end window. I don't know if you remember, but the toe and heel I did on this corner here was too tight, and I can't get the window in place, so I'm going to have to take that window back out. But I've been waiting for the plastic jam tools to come so I can actually get all of the internal beads off so I can get the window back out. So anyway, so that's one thing I'm going to have to do, but I've got to wait for a barrel to turn up, and in that barrel we'll have a few things in order for me to do that. The building, yeah, a few issues in the building. We've designed this to be completely watertight, which is great when you're living here and you've got air conditioning going and stuff like that. But when the building is sealed, it needs to be able to breathe. So we've got no ventilation in there. So now that the actual building has been locked up quite an amount of time, and there's been a lack of breathing, it's created moisture. So I don't know how. But for instance, some of the clothes we've had hanging up in the closets have had mold patches on them. We've had a couple of minor leaks from the roof down through the guttering. That water's leaked into one of the bedrooms, and the moisture can't get out, obviously, so it sweats. So with the heat outside and obviously the dampness inside, we've created a bit of a moisture. So we've got to come up with a solution to try and help the building breathe. And, you know, a lot of Bayesian houses have the louver windows and they've got air coming through all the time. We decided not to do that because of the salt. So the good thing about that, we don't get the salt penetration in here like we would do, but the downside to that is it needs to breathe. So the air conditioning holes we had put into the floors in the house itself, there's lots of them. We're probably going to go ahead temporarily with some minor, small air conditioning units in each room rather than a big central unit like we discussed. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to put some form of ventilation system downstairs that pulls air down into the basement from upstairs, and also pushes fresh air up from the basement. So I need to have a think about how to do that. Any ideas you guys have got, hit me in the comments below about what you suggest. But you know, some form of inline and outline filters of some sort, fan units of some sort, that, you know, normally when you go into a bathroom and your extractor comes on, that will have a fan in it that is actually pulling air out of the room and shoving it out the house. We need that, but we also need the other way around. We also need to pull air from outside into the house. So I think if we can try and do that, that might obviously assist the house breathing a little bit more. And then I also need to try and get some of the air conditioning units supplied and fitted. So again, if you guys know of anybody on the island that's decent and can provide good units and is clean and is professional in the way they go about things, let me know in the comments below who you'd recommend. Because I think we need to start now looking at some form of air conditioning here, because it's bloody hot, as you know. So if we can try and at least get some proper air conditioning units into the bedrooms, that would be good. In the meantime, I'm speccing up the solar system from America. Our electric bills here, just having a couple of mobile air conditioning units in the bedroom, is absolutely astronomical in price. I don't know what your electric bills are in the island, but we were between 200 and 350 Bajan a month before we moved the air conditioning units in. Now we've got the air conditioning units in, we seem to be between 1,000 and 1,200 a month. It's like, wow, that is unbelievable. So the air conditioner, the solar system we were talking about putting in, it's always going to be a no-brainer anyway, but at those sort of prices, it completely is a no-brainer. The downside, obviously, it's an expense we could do without at the moment, but obviously over the next year or two, we're going to end up paying it anyway. So if we can, to run the whole house, we're looking at a system that is around about, I say the whole house, most of the house, it's a system that's around about 20,000 US. But obviously, if we're going to be spending 1,000 Bajan a month in electric, then it's only going to be a couple of years before it starts paying itself back. So it's something that we could do without doing at the moment, but I think it's something we need to analyse sooner rather than later. It also means that obviously we can go ahead with some air conditioning units and we don't have that issue. So other than that, that's pretty much where we are at this present time with everything. The pool man apparently is going to try and come out and see me tomorrow. Fingers crossed he does. Anybody got any decent pool people on the island, let me know. Anthony's a guy we've been actually trying to bear with, but he's so busy, he just doesn't unfortunately arrive and deliver. So we managed to buy the pool product from America. In fact, let me show you that. It's here. It's cost me a bloody fortune in import tax, as does everything else on the island, unfortunately. But let me show you that. So we'll get that put down with our, sorry about the wind, it's actually a nice breeze for today for once. So this is the product we've gone with. We've gone with a Calypso Blue for the pool itself. It's actually called Cidercrete. So we've gone with a blue for the inside, and then I need to come up with some form of solution for the pool edge. Now I bought a slate grey colour, so the pool itself and the basin of the pool will end up being in the blue. Then I'm thinking about having some form of coping stones all the way around the swimming pool, and then a grey to the concrete on the side. It's all waterproof and it's quite a grippy sort of material, so fingers crossed that will work really well. So again, it's you can get a mason to apply this, it's just like plaster, and it goes really smooth and completely waterproof after 2 coats. So that's the aim. The aim at the moment is obviously these 2 pallets here full of blue, get that on there sooner rather than later, but obviously we can't do any of that until we get all the pump and all the filters and the water connections into the pump room, which is another thing we've got to do. Whilst I was away, I was hoping that would have been, the pump room itself would have actually been watertight, the drainage in and water feeds in, as well as the overflow out would have been sorted out. 9:30 I'm meeting the plumber electrician on site today to see if we can get that sorted. And then that means that the pool guy can start installing the pumps, the heat pumps and all that sort of stuff as well. But that hasn't been done. So that's one thing I have to get done. And I was hoping the garage door would have been done. So number one, I think they would have hit problems if they'd even tried to cut the garage door, just purely because of the height and width issues we have. Here's the door itself and the boxing, so I'll show you what I mean by damaged in transit. So this is meant to be straight. So it's taken a real bang at the back down here. It's been damaged underneath here, look. So it's been hit quite hard. As you can see there, look, they've obviously dropped it on something or put it on something and crushed it. But either way, that's the box that will sit above the garage opening. And then here's the 2 runners, which I was hoping to be 2,500, but they're 2.2. So that will bring the garage door right down. And then in here, which I haven't opened yet, are the runner slats. I'm just praying to God that they haven't been dumped on something like this and are going to be the same, because that's the fascia of the garage, which means we won't be able to use it. So everything crossed. Wish me luck on that one. I'll open up and report back to you guys later on how we're getting on with that. In the house itself, what have we done? So the hallway itself is still need to be done. Obviously we've got to finish off the entrance into the doorway, and we've got to think about a solution for the front door, and that's something on the list to do. The comms and the CCTV and everything was all done and dusted. That all worked fine when we were away. Kitchen doors, they all seem to have moved a little bit with obviously the condensation and the dampness in the house. They've definitely moved since I've been away, because some of them actually grind a little bit when they're open and shutting now. So it's amazing when a house is not being used, and obviously it's put into a different set of circumstances with regards to its moisture, how it can change. But in general, there's been no leaking in the house. We've been very lucky there. We have had a little bit of dampness coming into one of the bedrooms, and it's unfortunately swollen one of the actual skirting boards, and that's had to be replaced. And we've also got the same problem here. Water's driving into that wooden door there underneath, and it's making the actual skirting boards blow there as well. So we might have to consider putting some form of double glazed door on there. And again, in Barbados, normally the doors open outwards, not inwards. I suppose one, because of hurricanes, and two, obviously driving rain. So I've obviously done a stupid thing and gone English on that. So I'm going to need to change that door. I think we're probably going to have to take the whole frame out, as saying, get something with double glazed door made and installed if we can. I think that's probably the only solution around it. The window here still hasn't been made, so that's what I've been chasing up today. So that's got to be made. There's a 2-foot window in the bathroom here, one of these ones here for the bathroom in here that still has to be made, and we still don't have our big 4-foot window, 6-foot by 8-foot window. This is meant to be a solid piece of glass going in here in a big unit. That was meant to be delivered 3-4 months ago, and it wasn't for some unknown reason. So we're going to get that done. There doesn't seem to be any leaking inside here. I'm going to get up on the roof and have a good look later on. I am seeing a damp patch down here which keeps appearing. I don't know where that's from, so I'm going to have to look at that. So whether that's actually where the rain drives into here and sort of soaks around, I'm not too sure. There's no signs of it coming from above. So that's a bit of that's a confusing one, that one. For 2 days now, so I came here yesterday and it was there and it dried out, and then it's back there again this morning, so I'm not too sure what that one is. Again, it's, the building is moving, it's settling in, there's been a lot of work that's been done. So obviously there's going to be a few moves and changes. Here's one for you. So we're thinking about doing something on the patio. We're thinking about a begonia of some sort, but obviously the space itself is massive. So we're 40 foot, roughly 35 by 40 foot as a patio, which is huge. But at the moment, the sun here is so deadly, you can't actually use the space. It's a beautiful space, but apart from the evenings, you don't really get to use it. Also, what happens, because the floor is getting such a beating, when you go downstairs into the basement, the heat down there is unbelievable. So we're thinking about coming up with some form of solution. So the solution is, and the cheaper solution obviously, is we originally had this bit here, the cottage itself here and above the house were beams made, because it was meant to have a concrete floor and a room above. We held back on doing that. So we have the beams up there. Do we literally just run some rope or stainless steel cables across and have natural plants or fake plants going through to create a shading on the patio? That's one option. That's probably the cheapest and simplest option. Or do we try and potentially think about doing some form of begonia stroke gazebo type thing, 4/6 posts, a framework fixed to the floor, again with an independent that we can do. And my thought process is AstroTurf on here, however big that's going to be, space is going to be, AstroTurf on the floor. You can have then garden furniture on here that's set underneath the shade, and it then becomes a usable space and keeps the heat away from downstairs. That's my thought at the moment. So let me know in the comments down below what you think I should do with it. Any solutions, any ideas, any examples you can see, send them over to me and let me know what you're thinking. I've been looking. Budget is tight, obviously. I also don't want it looking like a postage stamp, but I also don't want it to be a massive monstrosity. And it's also got to cope with the elements, the wind, the rain. If you do anything that's out of board, it won't last. So if it's going to be solid wood, it's going to have to be quite big. It's going to have to be at least 10 foot tall, because if the house is 12 foot. So you then start looking at the support and the weight, and then you're going to have to tie it. So it's a few problems. But I think, running some rope across and putting some form of fake you know, vines through it with some flowers to try and shade it by about 80% would be the best option. So let me know in the comments below, let me know what you think. I'll try and upload some pictures as I'm talking now. When I do the video tonight, I'll upload some pictures of some ones that I've seen that I like the look of, and then let me know what you think, and obviously send me what you see or what you feel. Okay, I'm rambling on, so I do apologise. I will check in with you a bit later on. It's only just gone 8 o'clock now, so I'll do a few filming bits of any issues I can see or things that we need to contend with. Obviously, we're going to do the unveiling, I should say, of the garage door, so hopefully that won't be damaged and it'll be in good condition. And then we can maybe try and put the framework together today and try and put it up there to see what it looks like. And then we need to get the mason out to start looking at the sides, and then we need to get carpenters out to start building the boxing above, and then we can get the garage door installed. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the garage door myself, but if anybody does know anyone in the island that's bloody good at doing garage doors, let me know. Also the garage gates, we still haven't got anybody that's built the garage gate for us, the driveway gate. So if anybody knows anyone decent on the island that's good at that, please let me know as well, because we need to reach out. I've reached out to a few people, but I've not had any luck with one. One said he's going to give me a price, and he semi-has, but then goes a bit quiet. So yeah, anyone decent on the island that can do me a basic gate. I'm just looking for a square frame. Obviously it's going to be about 20 foot wide and 20 foot long by about 4 foot high. And then I'm thinking about cladding that with, well, I would use cedar in England, but I don't know what you'd recommend here. Again, hit me up on that as to what you think wood I should use. It's got to be obviously hard wearing. It's got to be able to, you know, resist the heat and the salt being right next to the sea. So yeah, let me know what wood you think looked great that would obviously last and weather really well over time. But I think that's my idea. I'm thinking about doing a big 20-foot gate, down rods, obviously, with regards to probably about 1 inch to 2 inches wide, all the way along. That'll bring some nice wood colour into the driveway, and I think we'll set it off really nice, and should be better with the elements rather than some form of metal, which, without being rude here, will corrode. Things, for instance, like the shower wall over there, you know, I completely covered that in an oil before I went, and it's still got some form of signs of rusting on it as well. It's only been up 3 months. So I definitely need to start going around the next couple of days and maintaining everything. So yeah, from my point of view, let me know your thoughts, and I will report into you a bit later on today. Good to be back. Hope you're all well. Take care. Good afternoon. We're at 12 minutes past 12. Even with a 2-month gap, my luck doesn't change, unfortunately. So anyway, we unrolled the garage door. And the garage door, as you can see, is now trying to be bent back into shape. So it looks like what they've done is they've loaded it onto something and then either weighed something on top of it or the other way around. Either way, it's like a banana. So at the moment, what we've done is we've rolled it out and we're trying to bend it up, if that makes any sense, so we can try and weight it down to try and counteract the bend. But also, because it's been bent, there's a couple of quite nasty little, I don't know what you class them as, creases, I suppose. The aluminium's got a crease in it, so I'm not too sure if you can see any. Oh, there's one straight away. So this is on the actual inside of the door, which wouldn't be so bad, but the other side is worse. So where this is rippled here and where this is rippled here and here, that's where the bend is coming up. But on the other side, there's actually dents in each one of them. So this is the inner skin, believe it or not. So as you can see, there's one there that's slight. You just about to see it on the camera now. So they're slight, you can put up with those. A crease to a certain extent, you can semi-put up with this on the inside, but on the outside, just all over the place. So, it's not looking pretty, so I'll talk to the shipping company, see if there's a way of actually making a claim and trying to get another one sent, but it looks like we'll have to try and put this one in the meantime, and then we'll see how it goes on. With regards to the boxing itself, what houses all of it, you know, this is the inside, so this is what you'll see inside the garage, and it's not too bad from there. The underneath that will be showing downwards is a little bit bent and twisted. The back panel is not too bad because we're hoping to hide the whole thing behind the wall. So this will screw up against the wall, so we can screw and straighten all of that. But anyway, not ideal, obviously. It means that we're going to try and put that up. And it won't be pretty, obviously. So the downside, obviously, that bringing it in, you get charged import tax and duty. So if I now need another garage door sent and they're willing to do that under the insurance, that's amazing. But you're then gonna have to go for the same import duty and the same tax again. So I'd be interested to find out if anyone's been through this before. How would you go about not having to pay the same amount of money? If you were sending a product back to the UK to be repaired and sent back again, would you just have to pay the same import duty and tax? I assume you wouldn't. So this would be the same thing. You've sent a product, it's faulty, please can you send another one? And surely you wouldn't pay the same import tax and duty on the second product. So that's another issue I'm gonna have to contend with. Anyway, I was hoping to come back and actually be more positive and report great news. But as soon as you start trading in Barbados, the frustrations start coming out. Good news is that the electrician and the plumber did arrive today. We did have a quick look at the pump room. The pump room is something we have to get sorted out. So the pump room itself is one of the things that I'm actually having to get done, mainly to get the building signed off by town and planning. So by law, you have to have an irrigation tank and it has to have a pump in it to pump that water out. Now, I'm hoping to go AstroTurf on absolutely everything in this building. So I don't want any grass, I don't want any plants, which means I don't need to feed anything. But I still have to have an irrigation tank and I still have to have a pump, which is going to cost me probably $2,000 in total to buy and install, to feed nothing. So anyway, today the guys turned up and we had a bit of a plan. We've got to build in the wall here, in what I call the southern wall, but is actually the easterly wall. We've got to build a 18 to 24 inch square louvered window to allow air to come in, and we also need on this wall here, which we call the southern wall, which is actually the something like that. It might even be the southern wall. That wall itself needs another 18 to 24 inch louvered window in there as well. So the pumps, when they start going for the swimming pool, are going to generate a lot of heat. They've got to breathe. If they can't breathe, they don't operate very well and they'll just corrode and die. So I've got to buy a pump to go into the irrigation tank, which we're now hoping to get one that's submerged in here. So rather than actually having it in the pump room, we're going to submerge it straight into the immersion tank. Irrigation tank, sorry, not immersion tank. Down here, and the pipe work around the building, as you can see those two pipes there. So we can take a pipe straight out, put the pump in, connect up to electrics we've got already in here, take the actual the pipe out and connect straight to here, then the sprinklers are all connected and the irrigation tank is all good. We're currently at about 4 foot of water in the irrigation tank, and we don't seem to have any leaks at all, apart from there's a slight one in here. So this is where the downstairs storage area is. There's a leak around about here coming through the wall. So again, once the swimming pool is actually plastered properly and we can actually get water in there, then we'll pump the water out of the irrigation tank into the swimming pool, because then the material will be in here. Then we can get into here and fix the corner issue, which is around about here, I would say. We can get in there and actually tank that to ensure that the water doesn't penetrate that wall into the storage area downstairs or go this way into the pool area. Tonight or tomorrow night, hopefully the mason's coming out and he's going to look at breaking away all of this. So as you can see, this is all cracked all the way along here. This is all going to be broken off and redone. One of the big negatives to doing that is that I've already got the cement and some of the sand already here, but because this has been shut up now for 2 months and it's been quite moistured down there and very hot, the concrete bags that I've got down there seem to be pretty solid, so I'm thinking they might have started to cure, which means I'm gonna have to go and order more bloody cement. So anyway, welcome to my life. Never changes. We sprayed all of this today with a weed killer. So hopefully tomorrow and the next day, this is all going to start dying off, and then we can start de-weeding this. And I'm going to order some massive sheets from Carter's. They do a 330 foot by 12 foot roll of weed sheet. So I'm literally going to order that in this week, and I'm going to get that rolled out across all of it. I'm going to make sure that once we've de-weeded it and we've blasted everything, then I cover it to ensure that it can't grow back. And then I think I'm going to go with AstroTurf. So give me your comments below as to what you think. Am I mad? Am I not? The thought of having to spend any time in this sun landscaping or cutting grass or anything like that, it doesn't fill me with any form of thrill. And so far, you know, I've already been away for 2 months and I've been let down so far from my maintenance on landscaping. So I don't really want to be in a situation where I'm relying on other people and the place is starting to look a bit tired. If I put in AstroTurf and it's low maintenance, then I may not be so needy on that. So anyway, I'm back. Negatives are starting already. Trials and tribulations of building in the Caribbean are showing their signs already within day one. But anyway, they're here to test us, so I'm sure we'll improve and learn and progress throughout the journey. Other than that, good to see you all back. Comments below if you can. Give me a thumbs up. Let's try and get us to 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. That'd be great.